Okay, so thank you for attending today's webinar. Today, I'm going to talk about two big topics that relate to partnership, strategic partnership and licensing frameworks in open innovation and healthcare life sciences. So mostly focus on biopharma and hospital and medtech and healthcare tech kind of the entities. So I will start slide mode first. So, actually, it was planned two separate webinar, but I think that the two topics are related and consistently can be matched with one topic. So I combined two webinars. So some of you are invited to either one of the webinar topics, but actually that they are related. So you will be have enjoyed the topic today. Okay, let's see. So I explain you that two complementary framework unify. So I'm going to explain that each topic and then how they integrate. So I'm going to talk about the state of art of open innovation in healthcare and life sciences. And I'm going to talk about the challenges of open innovation in healthcare life sciences and the agentic AI powered partnership framework and licensing framework. And I show the live demo. So basically, today's content is a very diverse topic, and the content is so big. So I already shared the white paper to deep dive, kind of like analysis to relate to this topic. So you can use it as a reference. I'm also going to share this presentation slide after the webinar, so you can look at the details. So I will touch upon very essential part, and mostly I will show you the showcase that what is meant by the agentic AI powered framework for to supporting your strategic partnership and licensing. And then I want to discuss with you that to ask about your insight or your comment, anything that I through my discussion. Okay. So what's the state about? So I just to deliberately choose this topic because it's a series of the agentic AI in healthcare and life sciences that I I learned through the whole of this year. And then this is nearly final topics. So recently I'm touching upon that based on my agentic AI framework developments experience over a year. So I'd like to choose a topic that can support to ecosystem level. So I did several time of the different topic, kind of like, for example, clinical trials and regulatory compliance, also like a healthcare knowledge management stuff. And then I find that uh, this kind of like a strategic partnership and the licensing and business development is the key essential part of the innovation to bring this healthcare and life science ecosystem be continue to grow and actually there's a key for innovation. So I choose two these topics. So strategic partnership is kind of like I define the upstream engine for innovation. So it kind of like in the cruise kind of the innovation is not anymore exists. So we are open innovation. We are connected society that the communities of this healthcare life science ecosystem connected and they can be interact together. So they went to the open innovation framework. and then particularly biopharma and medtech firms now co-design, for example, clinical trial. Digital has startup AI platform and hospital network. So, and the one example is the power of the decentralization kind. And also like a new parallel collaboration is demanding now. And so this is one example that the GSK and Metaver and then they're redefining trial collaboration. So the partnership that on the 4-year global agreement, GSK is deploying Metaver decentralized trial platform across its global R&D pipeline. So they integrate include the e-consent and televisit, eCOA, and other remote data capture and create a unified digital backbone for trial worldwide. So this is one example that there is a strategic collaboration between kind of like a Pharma and then, for example, the clinical trial relate the enterprise. So actually, you look at my white paper, I provide several other examples. So now we the partnership will be not just like one to one. It'll be like a multiple innovation network type. So new collaboration network is metric is Pharma AI biotech and other like hospital, medtech, academia, industry, all different stakeholders connected and collaborate. So the modern partnership is should be adaptive and intelligence driven and data federate and privacy preserving outcome aligned and trust governed. So this will be the kind of like the state of art based on the current state of art of the strategic partnership in this ecosystem. So they require also governance and then partnership intelligence system will require. So there are many type of the feel that strategic partnership is very important. And I just categorize it as three key kind of the partnership innovation is very important in biopharma area. So drug discovery and development. So I show some examples here. And digital medicine and connected health is another area. And clinical research and evidence generation is another one. So these three big topics actually that I focused on today. And also like hospital is another key enabler of the partnership innovation. So for example, kind of patient care innovation. So like a Mayo is one of the driving this area, kind of like hybrid partnership. And then also like healthcare AI integration. So the AI now is the integral part of the healthcare, and there are a lot of the kind of like the activities and then implementation is going on. And also I covered this topic very intensively over past 2 years. And I taught one of the Johns Hopkins course about this topic. So this is one of the key kind of innovation topic that collaborate each other and among the stakeholders in the center in the hospital. Also, clinical research and evidence collaboration on another area that this is the same topic as in Pharma bio partnership. And then I can define that once you have a collaboration, you have an output, right? It usually means that you have a pro innovation, you have a new drugs or the new type of the product, new type of the therapeutics, whatever you're coming out. And then next stage will be commercialization, and then licensing is one of the like key in commercialization activities. So I choose this topic, and personally, I'm expert in this area as a attorney, IP attorney, also like a professional, kind of like a certified licensed professional. So this is very important in like the downstream engine of open innovation. So, for example, IP transfer to value exchange, right? Because just to not IP transfer, but it's kind of evolve into kind of like a value exchange among the ecosystem. And also like, so for example, the modern licensing is kind of as a system. So risk sharing model and platform access and government driven kind of the things you required. Additionally, the globalization of licensing, cross-border convergence, and the rise of China is one of the factors. Actually, I'm going to have my final webinar series will be in the next month about this topic, cross-border kind of like a partnership and licensing and clinical trials and compliance and investment is a kind of the like I found a recent trend that among this kind of healthcare life science ecosystem, and then in the global ecosystem, there is a crossover convergence is a norm now. So I'm going to touch upon this topic in next month in several days of the span, and then mostly I'm going to focus on next month will be the Asia US kind of like crossover topic. So I will let you know that I'm still recruiting speakers, but for example, that I'm thinking about that in the cross-border convergence in the licensing area, and then one of the key factor is to kind of China, right? So so it's a somewhat it's kind of like a China is one of the dominator in the innovation and then license out to the US partners. So this topic will be I will touch upon in next month. So open innovation, you can integrate two pillars, right? Upstream and downstream. So, you can as an entity or the ecosystem kind of thing, right? So there will be synergy that the integrating two pillars. So that's why then I developed this content that through this one actually it will be kind of like a feedback loop and then bring the agentic AI to support this complex ecosystem. Okay, so challenges. So what kind of challenges we have? So the collaborative explosion, right? So pharma, biotech, medtech, digital health, and hospital ecosystem now form a global innovation web and partnership and licensing deal volume, data lives, and joint ventures at the record highs. So, so central bottleneck is the gap between the speed of the discovery and the speed of coordination define modern friction and innovation. So, for example, the partnership challenges in clinical research is one key topic that we can deep dive. So, data fragmentation. So diverse standard, right? And then so we need to be some kind of like a unified scheme for the data unification. Actually, that this is one of the topic that I addressed the previous webinar about the agentic AI for the Haskell knowledge management. You know, one of the same area that you can like make a systematic integrating data and then utilizing data for you kind of like different type of the knowledge management in the same topic. And also privacy governance complexity and operation silos and regulatory flows. It's kind of like there are several type of the challenges that should be addressed. And for example, in the hospital, medtech digital has collaboration, and is one example, kind of like what kind of challenges you can have it and legacy infrastructure and procurement drag and also regulatory reimbursement ambiguity and cultural organizational kind of the misalignment, equity access gaps. So there are several and structure friction in the licensing, global licensing, asset selection risk, valuation opacity, cross-border legal friction. So what I'm going to insist is that because this is just knowledge you can do your research, but the point is that actually I want to like resolve this complexity, right? And then basically through this one, actually, I try to look at the what the current effort in. So I look at the delivery rate, what the big pharma is doing, the hospital doing, and they are mostly depending on expert the manual process. So it depending a lot of the manual process experience. So it kind of like in a very complicated ecosystem like this that I try to bring the agentic AI that it's that they are human-like, the co-filer to the each individual expert, so they can support to bring you to be more like a lubricate way to actually the perform your task. So this is the my proposal to bring agentic AI. And also hidden risk, cross licensing deal life cycle. There are many type of things and then you can imagine that if you want to do yeah, definitely you should be working in the team. Many different type of expertise required. But additionally, but the beauty of the agentic AI is a multi-agent AI system. So the each kind of like expertise required can be assigned to the agentic AI agent, and then they can be orchestrate and then they can collaborate. So that's why the mimic to the human like grouping and the teamwork, and also they can be support because they are AI. They are more performance. They are more than human like manual activities. So this is one thing that I have in mind. So, for example, the identity part of the partnership framework is kind of like a supporting that what you've done in the manually in a complex kind of ecosystem and then bring that table, and then they can like for example the just beyond the connectivity, so they can give you like a kind of cognition and intelligence to bring that. And also, so this is just systematically what kind of like agent. This is the same thing as a teamo. So you bring your team. So I knew that big pharma or the hospital have assigned this kind of like a position lower. So you can bring this as a teamwork of the agentic AI. So, for example, one is opportunity discovery agent. So what they're doing is just look at the illustrative example. So a pharmaceutical company deployed discovery agent to identify AI biotech startup applying federal learning for related target discovery, spotting them months before traditional scouting methods. So looking for the good partner is one of the key to be successful in the strategic partnership. So they looking at the hidden insight, and then they spotting that the who might be your strategic partner depending on your goal, right? And then they support you to find out. And also kind of like, for example, that the partner intelligence agent is, for example, illustrate example, the hospital consortium link tele psychiatric vendors based on clinical evidence quality interval with the EHR system. So it kind of like a evidence-based database, kind of like scouting and screening that who might be your best partner. So, and then like half of the negotiation and the destructuring, and also the governance compliance agent, and knowledge synthesis agent, and feedback and learning. So close the cognitive loop. So this they are dynamic. So agentic AI is utilizing memory and the tools, and that they can like over the interaction, they can learn self-learning and they evolve. So this is the one, for example, illustrating a health system. The feedback agent discovered that patient engagement improves by 30% when AI-based coaching accompanies the therapy. So refining models, prioritization logic, kind of things. So learn through the experience interaction, and revise the whatever the in the process workflow. Okay, so and then they are layered architecture. So I'm not going to talk about much about in the technical aspect, but it's kind of like a human kind of the perception, reasoning, action, and also the use case. One of the like what kind of like agentic AI can have you. For example, the Pharma Biotech Alliance exploration. So this is just kind of like the one some scenario that you can imagine. Like for example, what kind of challenge you have it. For example, global pharma team the face on overwhelming landscape of the biotech stuff. Very like recently, I saw that recently someone. Um, he's my LinkedIn connection, and then he developed kind of like the agentic AI to find out all the biotech startup, and they bring some tables, something like this. So search and find is one of the key area of the agentic AI can do, and so they can accumulate all these different type of the data across the layers of the like, for example, in the internet or the other the website API, and then they can profile each startup. So it have you to resolve whatever you depending on your kind of like a goal that they will give you a quick answer to you. The opportunities career agent is a scan sub as I mentioned, and then so they are ready to support you, right? And then what is outcome? It's kind of due diligence time is much reduced, and then deal throughput is increased high, right? So they are very kind of like quantifiable ROI it can bring. And then one other use case is hospital medtech collaboration orchestration. So, for example, a large hospital system run hundreds of disconnected digital health pilot, and so they wanna be like orchestrate this kind of like a collaboration. So the partner intelligence agent evaluate vendors using multi-dimensional scoring, right? Clinical efficacy, interpretive regulatory readiness, and equity effects. So if you're working in this area, you will see the benefit how this agentic AI framework to supporting your everyday kind of duties, right? And outcome is redundant pilot is reduced and many other things. And also clinical trial network optimization is another example that I recommend to read this one. So there are a bunch, right? Because I just shows three, but you can imagine it depending on it depending on yours, right? Your task or whatever your institution, your ecosystem. So there are 100,000 kind of the use case you can develop. So for the same kind of the framework, for the focus on licensing. So it is especially that they have it for the licensing deal flows innovation. So in the past is linear, like it's kind of like the discovery, evaluation, negotiation, and monitoring kind of thing. And it'll be like more like that agentic present with the framework. Every patient is kind of like a system perceived kind of like cognitive community. So framework region across domain. So this is same thing, six class of intelligence, so cognitive engine kind of thing. So for example, that the SS Scott agent, what kind of thing they can do is illustrate example the gene therapy style of describe superior vital vector technology months before competitor, right? So they're looking for out there kind of like a tech transfer opportunity, and then they find a competitive technology they can bring in, right? And also like agentic AI lengths and novelty IP freedom and the manufacturability, everything that can find out what kind of like a potential licensing and licensing opportunity you can have it. So it's same thing, IP analysis and valuation and restructuring and partner field agent and alliance kind of thing. So it's the same thing layers. And then, for example, use case, the startup licensor preparing for IPO. Okay? So if you're a startup, you're in the late stage of you like the venture, then you have a similar situation. Like, for example, the venture-backed RNA therapy startup seeks to out-license one asset pre-IPO to validate its business model and then strengthen investor confidence. So asset scout and IP render scheme agents, the software is fully qualified partner within days. So they find out a potential partner to be licensed in, right? And then also like kind of like conflict detection logic reveals overlapping claims before diligence. And valuation, the structuring agent generate kind of like a new MPV forecast in three optimized term sheet. So the outcome is the 40 million upfront licensing deal is executed in 2 weeks. So X-ray investor traction kind of thing. So you'll be in this situation that it will support your effort to find out the potential license in partner, and then they give you the values through your IPO. And another thing is a Pharma licensee optimizing pipeline. For example, a European mid-cap farms face multiple oncology patient creep, and the patent clips you know that because the patent any jurisdiction including United States have a office patent office, and you file it and they examine it, and then once pass through, and then they provide kind of like a 20 years exclusive right to you on return to you disclose everything detail about your innovation to the public, so they utilizing the information. But for example, the blockbuster kind of like a drug, every drug has its own several type of the patent portfolios. And then once 20 years later, actually, you know, the generic drugs are coming, so their competitiveness is decreased. So they're spreading their revenue and market share. So agentic licensing frameworks can activate the program across oncology. So they can make up through the new partnership, right? So using asset scouting valuation. And so they find out 25 qualified candidate and our three top fit asset, right? Because this asset is IP. So they can continue to like have their exclusive market position through this licensing. And so this is one thing that Pharma is actually working on in the way to find out the new partners to bring this to make over their patent clips. And also alliance governance and regulation. So I recommend you to read this one. Okay, so I will show you the proof of concept demo. So through this demo, you understand, right, the features, what I mean, right? Because I show something that the demo show that you can have a lot of benefit in strategic kind of partnership and kind of like a licensing deal flow, right? And then this is a very kind of like a POC type demonstration, but it is very clearly show that what it mean by agentic AI the framework can be supporting your task or the supporting this ecosystem. So I'm going to show two cases, definitely for the partnership, and then I'm going to talk about clinical research partnership framework, and the other thing is a licensing frameworks, and each framework has several example use cases. So just to show you that how multi-agentic coordination, cognitive execution, kind of sensor, direct action optimization cycle work, and then demonstrate seamlessly intelligence flow from scientific collaboration to market transaction, and show measurable gain in speed and precision compliance progress, right? So I will show you two demo after this one. So the first one is a clinical partnership demo. So I will show you in an interactive demo. And also like I said for the PhD demo, I'll show you the several scenarios. Okay, so, so actually, we are now offering design consulting and build develop for identity framework. So if you're interested, because it should be very customized, because no one kind of like a single one-stop solution now can exist to solve every task, every kind of like challenges what I discussed today. That's why that it should be depending on your business model, your activities, your goal. So there are many factors that should be customized. So we do not bring any kind of like a ready-made product, but we are the expert group, so we can provide kind of like a design of the MVP development. And then if you want to commercialize, and for example, you can consult much bigger partners and can bring as a in the commerce stage. Okay, so okay, so this is a demo. So this is very intuitive because I develop using prompt engineering all the concept that I described today in ChatGPT. This is very intuitive. So this is explain the clinical research partnership framework. So this is a multi-agent AI system for orchestrating global clinical trial partnership with precision, transparency, and continuous learning. So clinical scenario info. So clinical kind of like a scenario that you wanna do. That actually that I just show you five, but any kind of like thing you can have it. So for example, that the medical specialty, cardiology, oncology, neurology, endocrinology, and pulmonology, and many things you can have it. And then also like what the stage of the clinical trials, the phase two, phase one kind of thing, right? So, and then what's your jurisdiction, right? Is the US, EU, US, Japan, and kind of thing. So you want to be collaborate with the global partners or the kind of like other ecosystem partners you want to have it, right? So, for example, that choose number three, the neurology phase three Alzheimer's, the decentralized clinical trial with the caregiver reported outcome. So in the step, partner discovery and landscape mapping, right? So it scan 600 plus global ecosystem entities targeting your goal. So the CR, the experience, neurals, and cognitive endpoint, and this is platform provide a kind of like a different type of the service. And the caregiver engagement solution vendors and home health and mobile nursing network and AI cognitive assessment and real world data analytic platforms. So, and then it search over that. And then it categorizes them as a top five filler cluster identify that the best candidate for your purpose. So it give you several kind of like the players that they combine to get the goal as a clinical trial partnership. So they provide the five candidate and then their specialties like here. They give you that why they choose this combination is better to your purpose. And then and then And then think about capability and compliance profiling. So yes. So you look at why that if you choose the partnership, then how they can be capable and they are ready to support your goal. Right? So they provide every detailed reasoning and then provide you that each candidate that scoring based on this matrix. And then it rank based on this matrix evaluation and then the scoring. So it rank one. This combination of the clinical trial strategy pattern is the best for your purpose. So it give you several options that you can pick and choose. And and then why you choose this one. It give you that how they select this candidate, how they rank them. And also give you the all kind of collaboration proposal and the package based, it's supporting you this documentation. And then it keep you like through, for example, you have a partnership with a specific entity, and then you run through, then through this the run through it run, and then in next time it'll give you the better rate to that, right? So this is one example that you can look at it. So it depending on how you design it, I just show you that one snapshot that is in a like for example early stage of the like a partnership, and then you set your goal, right? You design your goal for clinical trials, and then you're looking for the partner, then they bring you the table that who might be best partner to you, and then provide explanation in detail that why they recommended this kind of like a group to you, and then you can look at it, and then you can choose, pick and choose, and then they also like a later stage, kind of like the deal flow kind of partnership that they can support. So this is just example that I just designed to show you very simple one. And next one is licensing. So this is the same thing that I want to just show you very brief snapshot. So, but everything should be customized depending on your purpose. So, for example, that this is a autonomous valuation negotiation governance of the biopharma licensing deals. So, seven intelligence stage, right? A licensing scenario info, excellent market mapping, valuation and risk modeling, and deal structuring simulation, and term sheet generation, governance and compliance and oversight. The one funny thing is actually that I just to find out that someone who might be interested in, so I just look at the in the LinkedIn, and they have a position like a strategic partnership or the kind of like for example, the outside innovation or the business development, whatever. And then actually the my purpose is to hear from you about if this kind of like framework if implemented and the co-pilot with you, then what would be the kind of like the viability and potential through that actually that I can be redesigned, that what kind of content required something like that. I was once for the you, but and someone just asked me that do you have a like is existing tool kind of like a Tom sheet kind of like a generation something like that. I said because I'm not a guy actually that I'm not providing any ready-made product because I'm an innovator, right? And then to make clear that the doing this is I'm not going to sell anything, right? I just want to learn through the interaction because you are better than me. I'm a tech guy for 30 years, but not much experience in practical experience for every detail about this. So, but my belief is that because this is gonna co-follow the future of the agentic AI, and particularly they can be supporting great way to this the healthcare life science ecosystem, right? So that's why I wanna like co-follow with you, right? So I wanna collaborate with you, right? I'm not selling anything. I'm not interested in like for example like something that product to provide authors term sheet or something like that. Okay, so but anyway, because that'll be the part of it, so it can be like a customized and it can be using, right? So licensing scout scenario, so you can have the 100 scenario is with it, right? Okay, so you can choose, for example, the digital therapy for coronary vein and the gene therapy vector delivery system or something like this. So let's choose three. So it's selected in a scenario. So asset profile, so is kind of like a show that what is asset you want to involve in the license, and then stage and some partnering goal in licensing and target region. and IP position. Okay. And then it give you like asset intelligence market mapping. So it can find out who might be potential licenses for your asset. And then it find out the global market segmentation identification and competitive landscape. And it give you the valuation. And then it give you to destructuring step 4. It support you that how you kind of like walk through this kind of license out your endeavor so that it give you some strategy recommendation. Hmm. The ChatGPT have a problem. Restart. Okay, so probably. And term sheet generation, negotiation support. So actually that it can be customized your proposal and term sheet generation and negotiation support can be included. So, but it's not like a product. Actually, you use it based on yours proposal, right? But it's part of the deal flow. So it give you that customizing your proposal, everything supporting for term sheet. So it give you that whole the deal process to support to you that it require, for example, if you want to do like you have a team including lawyers like me, right? And the other people, for example, like a loyalty, kind of like you need an accountant, anything, right? So it support you because even you are the like don't have this kind of team, but you know about how to guide through it, and then it give you that your this is your co-file editing AI can be very powerful to you. Mhm. So this is one example that you see that, but depending on your scenario, it can be a different deal flow and it support you. Okay, so we'll stop here. So anything you have in kind of like okay, so
So I have a question.
mhm,
Can I ask? Is that okay, Alex? It's really, really interesting.
mhm.
I'm just trying to understand a little bit. Like in your demo, one of the data sources that your demo used was proprietary. It was Cortellis. So this assumes the client has access to Cortellis, or does
No,
ChatGPT
that's all of the information is open data.
open data?
Yes, open data is it's open data. It only utilizing open data, except you know because that's why that the customization is very important because the in the demo only I can show is using the open data, right?
Oh, because I saw it said Cortellis, and that's something you have to license, or like PitchBook, you have to license.
No,
So,
no, 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 no. Because for example, the pitch book, I will show. This is one of the like the function that how you search of the internet using like a ChatGPT type large language model kind of thing. For example, one example is a patent, right? So, for example, do you want to look at the detail about the every detail about the information? You need the API, your
mhm,
permission to go through the and they will give you the whole data structure so the machine understand, right? Otherwise, another way is the human like search, like me. What I'm doing is to look at the website, so through the URL, right? And then I go through the whole the detail content, right?
mhm,
Right? So my ChatGPT, I train them to do that, right? So they don't go through the pitch book inside, but they look at the pitch book website. You know that for example I don't have any kind of like the for example the paid subscription,
mhm.
but still you can access the pitch book.
Something,
And
right?
then you can find out some information partially, right? So my agent to just look at the partial, like open
The freebie.
information. And then the beauty of the agent AI is that they can synthesize the reasoning that based on that extent, right? So limited information that I can then based on information that is extend to get the insight. Okay?
Got
But
it.
but you have a full. That's why I really want to have a partnership with someone actually explore this kind of. I have a different type of framework, but only I can show you is that this kind of like a surface like approach that available to me. But if, for example, if I work with you, and then I can, for example, the in-house got a in-house data is available to explore. It will be completely different, right?
Right, right. We have access to global data, PitchBook. We have, we do business development and deals all the time. This is what we do. But what I really wish I could have,
Hmm.
this is like next step is my AI contacts your AI and does the deal, and the money goes.
Oh, you got the point because you know that, Landy, you
Just
know,
get rid of 50
I talk
meetings a day
about
at
that
JP
every day.
Morgan. Just
You know that
replace
'cause,
JP Morgan,
yeah.
50 meetings to get one deal. No, it's
Yeah, that's one. It's agentic AI connection and discussion, right? This is there is another layer. There's a global kind of like ecosystem. They want to connect every agentic AI, connect and collaborate, right? And then my goal is to that I want to developing this kind of like, for example, that I have a meeting tomorrow. Someone actually does similar idea to me that what I'm doing is to the future of AI, right? In healthcare life science, right? For example, that I'm not interested I'm not a capability like other people is doing like open AI developing new kind of like algorithm or the new kind of like structure, the kind of thing. But what I'm interested in the new type of the use of AI, and the coexist with people, and then I just bring that like a term like AI native professionals in the co-pilot with his AI twin, agentic AI, right? So what I'm thinking about, you are expert in your field, right? So you have your co-filer agentic AI. What I want is your agentic AI, my agentic AI connect and collaborate in the future.
Mm.
So this is kind of like
That's
global
stage two.
ecosystem of the collaboration, partnership, licensing that I just envision, right? But it's far too far away. But what I'm doing is because I'm keep keep doing this kind of thing that that I believe that diffusion of knowledge, right? Diffusion of innovation, right? Because it's not like light of speed that I'm talking this one today and keep going on. I've done this kind of for 2 years, right? And then a little bit diffuse. And recently somebody contacted me and then they want to share something with me, right? So this kind of topic is new, so I'm not sure who might be contacting me. They think, oh, this is really have a good potential. I want to collaborate with you, but I'm very optimistic about because of the for over 2 years that as I done many different type of this kind of the event and then show that my philosophy and then framework demo everything and then really people to contact me and recognize it, right? But actually I really for example that I really want to for example the next semester I'm teaching at Johns Hopkins and next semester is this topic, so how you develop your own co-filer, right?
Right.
And then through that actually that I really interested in that you each person, right? At each professional in healthcare, it has his knowledge experience, and then I teach him how to develop his co-filer, right? And then he develop for himself, and then we can communicate. And I want to see how the performance each co-filer in the future, maybe his co-filer, my co-filer to communicate. Right? So, but anyway, it's a somebody asked me like it's a futuristic whatever, but it's a small step we can do.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just want to understand. So you showed us a demo that had five sort of use cases.
Hmm.
If I have a company that has its own use case, it's not I don't know, a preclinical AAV, it's, I don't know, some novel vector, it's some novel small molecule or gene therapy or something. How would they get access to this to plug it in? Do they have to hire you or like what
Oh
do they?
yeah, that's why actually the because the old thing now is not pre-made one, right? Because because there are so many complex logic involved, so I cannot make as a like a general
Okay.
platform,
Got
right?
it. Got it.
My
All right.
goal.
Dr. Rubin, you're describing my startup exactly. So
Yeah.
if I can just chime in a little bit here, my
Uh-huh,
name is
yeah.
Reggie St. Louis. I'm here currently in Saudi Arabia as a venture capital firm that kind of brought me out here to work on my idea, looking for a co-founder. But essentially, this whole session has been around this terminology of process intelligence, right? There's a company called Sonis that recently, achieved a $10 billion valuation, and it's all about taking business intelligence, understanding all the processes that are involved. So negotiation is one process, right? Preclinical target discovery, clinical stuff, it's all different processes that are often siloed. And the companies that do well are the ones that have good process intelligence. They bring their data together, they know the task specifically. And then the next level of that is bringing in the agents that are trained either on their proprietary data or on public data sets that are high quality to really be able to do this stuff faster, right? This is how we get to think about no longer taking a decade and $2 billion for a drug, is through accelerating all of this stuff. So part of what I'm doing is trying to identify where those processes are that have the highest leverage, whether that's clinical trials with the high.
I think that his network stop.
Reggie, you froze.
Building that stuff out with that kind of rigorous structure. Because what was shown here is kind of level one. There's a lot of agentic solutions that haven't been benched and evaluated to say that they're actually any better than just a nice prompt in a basic stream chat. If you measure it concretely, you can see that there will be a different level where sometimes it does make sense to have a knowledge base and attached to specific documents. And in some cases, it does make sense to have separate instances of these models going simultaneously and have the agents talking with each other because doing this deal is not a one person job. What if you had an agent to represent each of those people who might be involved on a team? And so, yeah, that's the future of these things and increasing efficiency and getting patients these therapies in a more productive manner.
Okay, thanks. Yeah. Yeah, I think that anyway, because the good news is that someone actually that have a similar idea that like I'm doing this kind of for 2 years, right? And then initially I complained about, wow, this community is so rigid that I try to bring something new idea, right? I have been 30 years experience, not in just the healthcare. I'm all vertical in high tech, deep tech. So I know about what the innovation is going. And then for some reason, I deep dive into healthcare and life science area. And then I just really endeavor through a deep dive for 2 years and then find out that this kind of topic. And then I want to have some kind of like some actually the Landy is one of the person actually he recognize my philosophy and then he support me, right? And then only few, and that's why I started to teach Johns Hopkins course because I want to more community members can be like collaborate with me, and then I found that rather than just like reading for myself, I want to teach that what I've done to many people, right? This is kind of open innovation, right? Because I'm going to disclose my know-how because all kind of demo that I develop, I learned through the endeavor and trial errors for 2 years based on my 30 years experience. Right? But I found that through a lot of interaction with the healthcare community, and I found that what's the best way to adopt the technology to this community is to teach them they can do that for their doing yourself, right? So rather than just provide a pre-made like a product, like for example, oh, agentic AI can support you like a workflow, healthcare operation, something like that. For example, that they can have you like revenue cycle management, reimbursement, whatever. Rather than providing them as ready-made, actually, I just tell them that if you have something to want to use AI for your task, then you can utilize your own, right? And then here is the one you can do, right? And then I found that that's the best way, right? Accelerate adoption of technology in healthcare and life science. So this is one of the endeavor I'm doing now. But who knows, like today, right? Someone you told me like some other company maybe have a similar kind of like the endeavor doing that. I'm happy because I never contact anyone actually that for this kind of like endeavor. But anyway, because I'm getting better at the tools that people recognize my endeavor then contact me. So
It's still a very labor intensive process. Like
uh-huh.
when we use AI, you showed one, let's say step two.
Mhm,
Step two would have taken me a day of giving very specific instructions to ChatGPT of exactly what I wanted it to do.
mhm, mhm.
Go scour all of these databases, go scour all of that, go scour da 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 da, and then rank and stack them. And then you take a subset of that into the next query or into the next query. It's still labor intensive. I think the whole point of the proprietary databases that we do use for our deal making is that it saves you if they do it for you, right? It saves
Right.
you because they have it built in. But I guess
Mhm,
if you don't have a choice, if you're a startup CEO or a small biotech, or you don't have access, to my team or the stuff that we do, then you don't have a choice. But really, really interesting. You should come see me. We should meet when you're at Hopkins. I'll be in Maryland. Are you coming in person or are you doing this like a webinar for them?
mhm. Yeah. Probably the best way is to maybe because I provide a proposal that I want to teach on spring, so it will start on January, right?
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah, hopefully we'll get a
it
chance
is
to meet when you're
accepted.
down here.
Yeah, and then we
I'll
can
be in
yeah,
Maryland. I'll be back
yeah,
in Maryland.
yeah. So
Anyway,
we
thank
can
you.
interact, right? I have
Thank you so
never
much.
won actually the interact through this kind of the efforts, right? Because I
Yeah.
already have about 10 my fan,
Okay.
including Randy, is one of my biggest supporter, right?
Ah,
Yeah, this is
right.
it's interesting. Yeah, just because, I just appreciate being involved in the podcast with so many intelligent people. But just to get back to what you were saying, Reggie, and also Ethel, there is a initiative that's also starting which is, I think, important to understand the framework of agentic AI first. But they're actually attempting to come out with digital twins to create virtual patients and speed
Yeah.
clinical trials. But if you don't really have a good foundational understanding of what's going on, I don't think that's going to be beneficial because most people will view that as a major, risk liability wise if they don't fully understand how the programs work.
Yeah, that's for sure. I'm mostly focused now on the business, finance and strategy. I don't do clinical anymore, but I can understand that. I'm gonna have to jump off for my next call, but really interesting. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Anyway,
Sure.
because we need to end this webinar. So, okay, so thank you for attending to the webinar, and I'll see you next month in a very, very interesting topic that we have more guest speakers. Okay. Okay, so thank you again.
Yep.
Take
Thank
care.
you, Alex.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Randy. Great have to me.